Welcome to the AAR Intimacy Model Masterclass. Now, you're going to discover the proven principles for creating attraction and also maintaining attraction. So, this masterclass is for you if you've ever been on a date and you find there's no spark. Maybe she texts you back and said, "You're a really awesome guy. I really enjoyed our date, but I feel there's no chemistry because you've ended up in the friend zone." Or maybe worse, there's no second date and there's complete rejection or ghosting. This masterclass is also for you if she loses desire for you. So you might be now in the process of dating, might be in several months, weeks or months, or maybe you've been in a mid or long term relationship and she has no desire for you. There's no sexual energy or chemistry between you. And now you're experiencing the dead bedroom. I've worked with guys who've even started dating, and they in 6, 7, 8 months, they've started to experience a dead bedroom. They've started to experience where she doesn't really desire him, and the intimacy started off really well, and it just took a nosedive. So what will you learn? You'll learn how to be irresistibly attractive on dates and date nights without the sleaze. You'll also learn the proven principles to building and maintaining attraction. You'll also ooze sexual charisma, not just the nice guy neediness aura. You'll ooze this confidence, this masculine charisma that women will naturally desire you. Just a quick about myself. I'm Faisal. I'm a men's coach and international speaker. I've been coaching and helping men for over 10 years. I started off my journey helping women first. So I spent a lot of time understanding women's problems because I really specialized in masculine and feminine energies. And then later on in my career as a life coach, I moved just exclusively helping men. I'm also the creator of the 5 masculine fracture framework, which really helps guys the 5 areas that men really struggle with. You fix these 5 areas, it changes and transforms your life and your connections. I'm also a nice guy recovery specialist. You must have heard of the phrase, nice guys finish last. Maybe you read the book, No More Mr. Nice Guy by Dr. Robert Glover. So you've heard of the nice guy finishes last, or maybe the nice guy syndrome. I am trained by Dr. Glover to help guys recover from the people pleasing individual, which is highly unattractive. I specialize in masculinity, charisma, and attraction. These are my fortes. Masculinity covers a lot, but I like that we can add a bit of charisma to masculinity because that's what it needs. It needs that allure to it. And then that becomes incredibly attractive, not just in relationships, but also in life. When you're networking, connecting around people, charisma itself draws people towards you. I'm a father of 2 men, so I've got 2 boys. So I'm really passionate about helping them reclaim their masculinity, learn to be what it is to be a man. I'm also doing this for myself as I'm going through the process. After a rock bottom divorce, I'm learning what it is to be a man. I'm making plenty of mistakes. I see, a lot of my clients make those mistakes. So what I'm trying to do here is to help you, give you some masterclasses, give you some lessons so you can avoid avoidable, unnecessary mistakes and really understand the principles. I wish I had this information when I was a teenager. So let's look at sexual attraction. So what is sexual attraction? It's very simple. Sexual attraction is a subconscious response of desire and arousal, triggered by a mix of physical cues, voice, scent, status, confidence, and character, especially in women where emotional and psychological factors play a major role. Now, this masterclass is designed for heterosexual male who want to attract and mate and build relationships with women. So a lot of the principles will apply in those dynamics. And again, guys, things like cues, voice, scent, status, they really play an important part for women's attraction towards men. And again, I'm going to give you a breakdown in this. So I'm going to show you the 3 areas that guys really have to work on. Sexual attraction exists because it's a biological survival mechanism designed by evolution to ensure the continuation of the species. So sexual attraction gets two human beings together so they procreate. Simple. Which highlights the fact that, therefore, sexual attraction is not a choice. Attraction is a subconscious and evolutionary response. No matter how much you can argue, you cannot logically create attraction. You cannot force attraction. You cannot, if you have you ever seen a woman that you're not attracted to? No matter what you can do, you cannot convince the heart. You cannot convince your biology to find them attractive. And the other way around too. If you see a beautiful woman that's highly attractive to you, no matter what you say to her, you cannot undo that. So attraction is not a choice. Why do men really struggle with attraction, especially nice guys? Well, it's simple. When most men have been growing up around mothers and a lot of feminine influence, the way women teach boys attraction is through a lot of be nice, be kind, be generous, be loving. These are great things. But this is not what creates attraction. This is what creates the third layer, which we're going to look into. What creates attraction is very different. It's chemical reactions that create attraction, especially for women. Guys are high bias towards visual aesthetics of a woman. Women are visual too, so the ego likes the visual part of it. There's other facets that take into place when it comes to attraction for women. Why? Because sex and having kids is very expensive for women. So if she procreates with the wrong type of man, she could be, say, 10,000, 50,000 years ago, be left with a child with no resources, no protection. So it's important to understand how women find or access attraction. Again, it's biological, but there are things that men can do to enhance attraction and create attraction and maintain attraction as well. So a lot of the times men have been taught the feminine way of creating attraction, but actually it's not creating attraction, it's actually creating relationship. This is why what really confuses men is, why is it that she's telling me I want a nice, kind, loving, generous kind of man, but the guy sees that women are gravitating towards bad boys who are jerks, mistreat women, unavailable, but yet they cannot stop thinking about these bad boys. So, guys, when I was growing up, it was very confusing. I'm getting told one thing, and the actions of women are gravitating towards these jerks. It didn't make sense. So, I'm going to give you some insights to help you understand what happens and why this happens. There are three stages. I call it the AAR model. So you've got the attention, you've got the attraction, and you've got the relationship stage. These three stages are essential to getting to intimacy, getting to a relationship. Now, let's have a look at the first one, is attention. Before attraction can happen, before even a relationship can exist, attention must happen. So what are the attention principles? The first one is appearance. That's the way you're composed, the way you come across, the way you hold yourself. This could be body language. This is also your style, and also eye contact. So those things make a huge difference. So if you're badly dressed, it turns women off. If you're not in shape, it signals to women that you're not biologically great to reproduce with. So again, appearance is a quick way to determine whether this person is high value to reprocreate with, and I will have good babies with this, good genes with this. So that's the first clue. The second clue is be in motion. This is so important. If you're stuck behind your desk just doing your work, I mean, I work with a lot of successful guys. They are killing it at work, they're killing it in business, and that's a problem. They spend too much time at home working or on by the desk and not going out in the real world meeting women. So you need to be in motion. You want to get a lot of action in life, a lot of sex, a lot of women, and experiences. You gotta be in action to get action. You gotta be in action. So just keep in motion, keep moving. Next thing is to grab attention is status. Status plays a huge part. And again, I'm going to cover more of that. Energy, again. So these are the 4 principles that we're going to look at. So attention, let's have a look. Appearance. Style is incredibly important. I mean, if you're badly color coordinated, women show that this guy makes no effort on his appearance. If he's making no effort on his appearance, that means for in her world is he's not going to make effort with me. He's not going to make effort with our children. So therefore, it's really difficult for me to even entertain him. Next is posture. This is something that I struggle with. This is something that I see with a lot of people because we're working behind desk. We don't really are conscious about how we stand, how we sit. I remember when I started learning more about public speaking, one of my coaches, he said to me, don't ever stand like that. He said, your back is really hunched and it's curved. Chest up, shoulders back, really feel yourself. And as soon as I did that, even I'm doing that now, I can feel the power. So just try it out. Just chest up. It doesn't have to be exaggerated, but just open up your body language. You will notice that people with low self-esteem are really closed. People who are confident, high self-esteem, comfortable in their own skin, really open up. And again, posture, body language is very important. Eye contact is one of the parts of body language as well. You'll see that confident people are comfortable in direct body language. So poor posture, forward head, flat back, balanced, upright is good posture. So you can see the difference around. So which one do you kind of relate to? Now let's have a look at style. Again, what a different style and effort makes. I mean, you don't have to go over the top, but this is, again, I'm giving you an example of just making an effort, how different you can look. Again, I understand these guys are models, but you can see that already the style. Did you know that research shows that high value style like this, men tend to get more sex and opportunities and more doors open for you because of the way you look, your style. Because evolutionary, it already shows that you have a lot of power, a lot of status, a lot of influence in the world, which is important. And again, you don't have to go over the top, very subtle, but yet very stylish, good body language, good posture with that. Again, for me, my influence wasn't the great. I think my adolescence kind of like dressed me. My mom didn't always have the best style. My dad didn't really know how to dress. So I had to relearn how to style. I remember going on holiday to Las Vegas. I remember 2 of my friends, and we were unpacking. We were in the Venetian hotel. We got a lovely suite. We started to unpack, and I looked at my clothes and I looked at the guy's clothes. And I went, fuck, mine looked like old man clothes, really not in style, not fitted. And I was really down about that. So I remember one night I said to my friend, hey, do you mind if I borrow your chinos and your top? And he said, yeah, sure, but just look after them because they were really expensive, designer ones. As soon as I put them on, they were fitted. I just felt $1,000,000. And I remember that night, I just felt so good about it. I just come out of a divorce, a breakup, and which was heading towards a divorce. I didn't feel good about myself. My confidence, my self-worth, everything was down. So that was just a great prop. Just the external thing just made me feel good about myself. And I remember I just had this incredible energy. We went out and we decided to find some bars and nightclubs to go to, and it was a mess. Las Vegas can be some really difficult. We ended up coming back to the Venetian. We're in the queue and it's packed with women. But the great thing was I was still feeling good in my own skin, really enjoying life and really enjoying being there, even though we just had a tough time trying to get into place. Eventually, we get into the Venetian, and I'm there, and I'm just loving life, loving the music, just really appreciative of being with my friends and enjoying it. And I met some incredible women. That energy just drew these women. I remember meeting this redhead, and we just danced, we had laugh, we had some drinks, and then we ended up back in my hotel room. So this energy just really draws it out. So remember, guys, it makes a difference of how you come across. Here's an example. Now, guys say, I don't get any matches on dating apps. I've seen so many dating apps, and I can tell you exactly why. There is no sex appeal. You're failing at attention. This guy loves fishing, right? But that's what he loves. It's not what will attract uh, women. He understands what it takes to attract a fish, the bait. But what he doesn't understand, the bait to attract women, hasn't got that clue. Most guys don't have that clue, and this is where we're going to start filling in. So one of the things is appearance. So to attract women, you have to show a few things that I'm going to go and break it down with you. It's the same thing with women. Appearance makes a difference. That's a first impression. I mean, like, you have women that don't really take care of themselves, not great, but you have a woman that really looks finesse, fine. She knows how to dress as a woman, and she brings this out. Again, women don't have to go slutty with this. She has to go classy. And for me, what I find is that classy women who are feminine women, they don't have to be revealing themselves. That's one thing I don't like in women, that they're constantly trying to sexualize themselves, expose themselves to get a lot of attention. You're going to get attention from the wrong type of guys. So attention principles. The second one, again, was about emotion. And one of the things that you need to do is be able to approach women. I hated approaching women. I didn't approach women before I really started to do this work. So I always waited for them to approach me. I was too scared. I mean, 99% of guys are fearful of walking up to beautiful women and starting a conversation. Ladies have this incredible power to destabilize, to freeze men because their beauty is so intimidating. What you're doing here is the reason why you can't approach women is you're putting women on a pedestal. Your ego fracture, this is something I talk about, doesn't feel worthy enough. And then your nerve fracture kicks in, which makes you completely anxious and nervous around women. So that really needs to be fixed. Another thing that you can do is just to start networking, connecting, attend events. That's what I did. So to really improve my approach anxiety is I started to go attend networking events, business networking events, social media networking events. There were so many different types of networking events, IT, computers, systems. I was there. And what I started to do was, rather than being in the background, rather than being the guy on the side, I started to talk to people. Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Faisal. I just started that with that. And then eventually my nervous system got accustomed to that. So this is called like exposure therapy. So I exposed myself to the environments that I really find fearful, uncomfortable. And then over time, I just started to gradually push a bit more, push a bit more. Oh, there's an attractive woman. I just started to say, hey, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Faisal. And slowly my nervous system treated attractive women and everybody else the same. And that's the secret, is not putting them on a pedestal. But once you've done this rep, you will see that attractive women, they're no different from anybody else. That's what you have to train your nervous system to. Another thing that you have to really improve to get more attention and attraction and then dates, be sociable. I'm not talking about social media. I mean, guys do use social media to approach women, go in the DMs. But again, you want to be able to have finesse in real life interaction. My background's IT, my background's tech. So I wasn't the most eloquent, the most sophisticated when it came to communication, language. I've really worked on this skill. Even now, like making this presentation, there is no way I would have been able to do this. I would have been so fearful because I spoke the language of data, not the language of communication, emotions, love. So it's incredible that you start to improve your social skills, become sociable, because this is commodity. This is incredibly important skill that we are eroding away because of social media. Why don't you host events? Organize, host events. I remember when I got into public speaking, I didn't have any stages to speak on. Nobody offered me. There was no motion. So what I did was, if it wasn't there, I'd build it, and they'll come. And that's exactly what happened. I started to build events. I started to create events. I created over like 50, 60 events in London where I talk about masculine and feminine energy, talk about masculinity, talk about different subjects, about relationships, because again, I was interested in it. I was learning it and I was also teaching it. So I started hosting it. I hosted a social event, I remember, in London at a rooftop park overlooking the Thames. Managed to get about 25 people there, men and women. And again, I just created a network of people and started to hold events myself. Again, you got to be able to have leadership energy in this as well. So let's look at that attention. Status is incredibly important because you got to be able to have some social proof. Again, when you are socializing, people know you. Hey, Faisal, how's it going? Women take notice. The psychology of attraction is women want what other women want. Again, this is a different video, but just remember these premises. Women desire what other women desire. How do we know this? Well, fashion is one way. There's a great science around that as well. Second thing is, you'll notice that when a man walks into a bar on his own and is like, okay, cool, he's just walked into a bar. Now, same guy, and I've done this before. You walk in with a beautiful woman on your side, and you'll notice, you'll instantly have much more social proof, and then you'll see that women react very differently to you. She's like, oh, if she's okay for that beautiful woman to be with that guy, it builds a lot of curiosity. So, social proof is that, are you desired by other people? Are you desired by other women as well? Next one is authority. So you could be an influencer, thought leader, author, expert professional. These are important ways to grab attention as well. So maybe on your social media, you can put down, I'm a public speaker, I'm an author, or the next part is I have a CEO, I'm a business owner. So all of these things are showing women, evolutionary wise, that status rank plays a huge influence in women's attention and attraction towards you. Another one is energy. This is important, your aura. Emotions are contagious. If you come across somebody who's negative, passive, dull, critical, judgmental, this is an important one. You kind of like you become more defensive. Women start feeling unsafe around these people. So it's very important to have grounded energy, safe energy. So when you're grounded, you're more centered. You don't take things personally. You don't lose frame control. You lose yourself. You lose your shit easily. You get offended easily. You get hypersensitive. You start to jump to worst case scenario, which is the nerve fracture. So the nerve fracture really helps with being grounded. It makes her feel safe. And once a woman feels safe, she can then ease into other emotions. So let me repeat that again. When a woman feels safe, then she can ease into other emotions. Other emotions can start flowing. When she's feeling unsafe, then everything's kind of like blocked out. She's in fear. She goes into the survival mechanism. Women have 2.5 times more mirror neurons. Because of that, when you're anxious, it gets her more anxious and unsafe. So ground yourself. Next one is charisma. And I'm not talking about you have to be James Bond, but I'm talking about just charisma. Every man has masculine charisma. It's about bringing that out. What kills that charisma is that criticism, negative, can't do attitude. You just work on those things and you watch and you'll see your charisma bloom up. Next thing is voice. Another guy just speaks with some just like no passion, nothing in their voice. They're very dull. And like, oh my God, life's really hard. Your voice is contagious if it's attractive. So even the way I'm speaking is with more authority, certainty. with passion and desire. One is because this subject really excites me. So that's really important. So voice, know how to use your voice. You got to learn how to use your voice. You're on a date, you're with a woman, that's going to titillate her. All right, so remember this. Your presence introduces you before you speak. Okay, so let's have a look at the next principles, the attraction and relationship principles. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at them, both of them at the same time. Why? Because attraction principles often contradict relationship principles. This is why a lot of guys get attraction wrong. What most nice guys, people pleasers, most men do who do not understand attraction, they bypass stage one, attention, and then stage two, attraction, and jump straight to relationship principles. Bad boys are good at one and two, but fumble at three. I mean, we can all fumble at number three. Relationships are very difficult. They're very challenging for the best of people. But bad boys, jerks, those macho guys, they're good at one and two because they really function from the ego. So let's have a look at them. So in the attraction principles, you got to really access your lover side. In the relationship aspect, to really blossom relationship, you got to access your provider side. It doesn't mean you do one or the other. It means that you can interchange, you can combine between them. So as a man, when you're on a date nights, seduction, your lover really comes out. Now, I remember there was a friend of a friend's, and this guy was stuck in the lover gear. He eventually got married, and I remember this guy, he's on his honeymoon, and then even outside his honeymoon, he'd always, let's have some champagne, let's do all these wonderful date things. He'd be like a great guy to have a lot of fun with to begin with, but that's what was the problem, was he'd always be on in the date mode, and he'd be stuck there, which becomes dysfunctional and a problematic when you have to sort out, say, for example, the house, the mortgage, the bills, the children, raising kids. You cannot be just stuck in lover. You need to be able to access the provider, the protector, the person that has to be able to deal with situations and look at coherently the things that are needed in order to create a good functional life. So, but this guy was just the lover. He just was in this fantasy magical world, stuck there, and he couldn't get out of that. And as a result, he didn't really show up as a father. He didn't really show up as a husband. He didn't really show up as a man that she could trust, because everything was all about this dopamine high of dates. So be very careful with that. So you got to switch and interchange between them. Attraction requires mystery. Now, a lot of nice guys and relationship to blossom requires transparency. So it builds trust. Whereas attraction, there's a lot of mystery. There's a lot of unknown. There's a lot of confusion. She's like, does he like me? Does he not like me? How do we know that mystery is so attractive to women? Here's what I suggest you do. Go and get a romantic novel, a short romantic novel, because I know you guys are going to go, this is way too long. Get a short erotic story. You can even go on Google and just look up erotic stories, erotic novels, and really research this. Erotic stories, erotic novels, romantic novels, you'll see that they've been written by, a lot of them have been written by women, and they are giving you an insight into their world. I mean, you look at rom-coms, romantic movies, it's all about the mystery, the confusion, the maybe. So a lot of guys, how they kill attraction is they bring a lot of certainty very quickly. Even after a date or two, well, do you like me? Or do you not like me? Where are we going? What's happening? Whereas bad boys, they're really good at this. He'll say, well, what are we? Do we like me? Do we like me? He would evade that question with maybe some more romance. So I'm not saying you have to do this all the time, because you want to be able to strengthen your relationship skills as well. So there's a time and place for mystery, and there's a time and place for transparency. Again, there's a time and place for lover and provider. Attractive men are cocky. There's a bit of humor. I mean, not playful. There's a bit of playful arrogance. And you'll see that. They're quite ballsy. They create a lot of tension. They can be very blunt, but it's done in a very sophisticated, kind of like playful manner, not in a like a harmful way, but it's done in a real banter. So they can have a lot of banter with this. So attraction requires a lot of that, whereas in a relationship it requires a lot of humility. There's like a deeper connection, deeper understanding on that. Whereas attractive guys, they're very cocky. They're all cheeky. There's a lot of that come out. They tease a lot. So that's really important. It's fun. It's playful. It's light energy. Attractive individuals. So the attraction side creates a lot of polarity. So it's very much you love it or you hate it. There's no in between. Now, whereas in the relationship skills, for that, there might be, you need to bring in some balance. So when you're creating attraction, polarization is incredibly important. Whereas in a relationship, you will create a lot of balance. I remember reading the book Models by Mark Manson, and he had some friends in that were completely polarizing. They will say or have an opinion that is very strong, or they'll make some comments that's very strong. They are very unfiltered. That's one of the most important things about nice guys will really filter and screen what they're saying. I don't want her to get upset. I don't want her to not like me. I don't want her to reject me. I don't want her to be mad at me. I don't want to embarrass myself. Whereas the attractive part of the guy who's very polarized, he will say things and he's very comfortable with that. So that's what polarization creates. Let's look at the next one. Again, status creates a lot of attraction. So bad boys, again, they're very much about let's go out for this fancy place, or let's just go out and really titillate the dopamine and really emotions. So attraction requires a lot of status, a lot of ego, but you don't want too much because you'll tend to gravitate towards very much egotistical women. Whereas in the relationship, you need a lot of depth. So it's more about let's go for a walk in nature is more depth. Whereas status is let's go to this fine 5-star restaurant on the rooftop bar where everybody can see how amazing I am. So that's that kind of like the opposites here. Guys, if you're watching this, please remember to like, subscribe, and share this as well, because I'm going to be bringing out a lot more training on this. So this really helps me to reach out to a lot of men. So I appreciate that. Okay, let's continue. Spontaneity, right? So being spontaneous. Attractive, what creates attraction is the unknown. So for example, you can just book a spontaneous holiday, go for a spontaneous walk, a surprise, some gifts, anything like that. Just being unpredictable. Predictability kills attraction. Boredom kills attraction, but not too much, because you want to be able to test women as well, that if they like a lot of highs, like the guy I was telling you about, they like a lot of spontaneity, they like too much of that rush, then there's some deeper emotional fractures that are going on. Usually I notice that a lot of people with abandonment issues like a lot of ego, like a lot of spontaneity, like a lot of excitement in the dates. Secure people don't need it as much. Okay, they like it and they can titillate them, but they're more grounded. So remember that secure people don't need a lot of spontaneity. Secure people don't respond to a lot of cockiness, a lot of mystery, a lot of polarization. They're more kind of like towards in the middle of attraction and relationship skills. And again, when it comes to risky behavior, you'll see that bad boys taking a bit more risk. You could some of the risky stuff I've done is that you can get intimate in places where you shouldn't really get intimate, or is it taboo or is banned. So you're getting maybe kissing her, maybe doing some more things in some places that you shouldn't be. Whereas in a relationship requires a lot of predictability, safety, and certainty. I know exactly what's happening. So in attractive men take a lot of risks, but they also take a lot of risks in their life. They will try out, experiment, see, and do things. So risk taking shows high testosterone as well. So you'll see that guys with high masculine energy, high testosterone energy, tend to be very much have strong attraction capability too. Aloofness, like unavailability, again, that ties in with mystery. So a lot of nice guys become over available. So as soon as they start seeing a girl and she says, "Hey, can we meet on this day?" They're like, "Sure, yes." The unattractive guys, what they do is they become super available and they become super predictable, right? So this is good for relationship skills. You want to be able to show that you can be there, but at sometimes you want to get that balance right. So sometimes you're not available. Sometimes you are busy. Sometimes you're doing your own stuff as well. And she needs you to do your own stuff. One of the things I learned in my marriage was that I was too available, too predictable. So you'll see that bad boys, and again, I'm not saying to be a bad boy, I'm saying that we can learn from the bad boys. They're not attainable, right? Which is why they're more of a challenge. And that creates a lot more tension. So bad boys are a challenge. Nice guys are challenged. So in attraction, you need to be able to challenge. So bad boys, or even like I would say high value charismatic men, they create more challenge in the relationship. They could qualify you. They can challenge you, question you, and then you can have a very challenging conversation. So again, challenge creates a lot of tension as well. In relationship skills, we need a lot of compromise. You like this, I like this. Maybe there's some of this compromise. Again, we need to be able to interchange between that. Attraction requires space. So when we are always connected and just in each other's energies, in each other's space and time, especially for guys, I work with guys who work from home. And because they work from home, they're always in each other's face, they're always in each other's space. So there's no space to miss each other. There's no space to wonder, to mystery, to fantasize what's going on, because you're always there. And most of the time, the energy starts, the masculine and feminine energy. This is something, check out some of my other videos, which I'll be creating on this, which starts to depolarize. So you start becoming less masculine and the women start becoming less feminine. And in that one, it starts to erode attraction. So too much space creates avoidance, but lack of space kills attraction. In the relationship, we need more closeness. So you want to be close together, and that helps you to strengthen your relationship and strengthen the bond. Again, finding the balance in between them, interchanging in between them. Two aspect, decisiveness is attractive and also strengthens relationship skills as well. So a lot of guys are like, maybe, maybe not. What do you want? I don't know. What do you want? So again, that can be quite off-putting for both in the relationship skills and trust and also in the attraction. Leadership is very important. Again, you got to know where you're going. You got to know what you want, and you got to figure out how to get there. And that's very incredible, powerful leadership. When controlling comes in, and I've been controlled and I have been controlling, and controlling comes in from a place of a lot of fear, a lot of unworthiness. That's not leadership. So leadership is being able to discover what's important, not just for yourself, but the greater good. In attraction, there's a lot of push and pull. So there's a lot of closeness, there's a lot of farness, there's a lot of mystery, there'll be a lot of push and pull between it. So there could be a lot of teasing, then you can go into a real deep emotional conversation, and then you can go back to teasing. So there'll be there's like a dance. It's just like attraction is just like a dance, right? So if you've ever been salsa, if you've ever been any kind of bachata or any kind of different dancings that you've done, ballroom dancing, you'll see that there's pull, there's push. So you might pull the girl in, then you push her away, and again, you have to learn how to do that with words and different types of actions. Energy, attractive energy is dominant energy. So the guy is dominant, and it doesn't mean that he's domineering over the woman. So dominant energy could be that, like, hey, I'm very passionate about things. I'm dominating my world, my life, and I'm very strong in that. So it's very strong energy. Whereas in a relationship, what really strengthens relationships is that collaborative energy. You work together, you work as a team. Whereas the dominant energy is like, I'm going this way, this is what I want, this is what I desire. So men need to be able to have that dominant energy and also that collaborative energy, and then really with finesse and fine tune that. So these are kind of like the principles I've seen that really grow attraction, and the principles on the other side in the red really grows relationship. And please remember this: alternate between them. It's not about being stuck in one gear. You need to be able to maneuver sophisticatedly. And this is what I teach the guys, is to be able to how to maneuver between them, how to bring in mystery, and then how to have some transparency, how to have some push and pull, and how to have some collaboration. So you've got to be able to understand, you've got to be able to know this. And one of the easiest way, not the easiest way, I would say, one of the best ways to really work on this is what I call the 4 E's. The first one is get a lot of experience, and then experiment, right? These are the first 2 E's. So get a lot of experience, meet a lot of people, connect with a lot of people, and then experiment. Know when to use any of those attraction skills. Know when to use one of the relationship skills. And then when you have more experience and done a lot of experiment, then you'll be able to calibrate. Then you'll be able to know when to use how much. So it's like a sword or something like that. You just get a sword and you just, swinging around. You don't have full control of it. The more experience, the more teaching, the more skills, then you can become more finesse at it. And then you know how much pressure to apply, how much not pressure to apply. The same thing with attraction and relationship skills. For us guys, as men, really have to learn all of these skills as well. Women have to learn a lot of their skills as well, because men value respect, and that's how they feel love. So that's some skills that she has to learn. But for us guys, it's really understand that women, desire men. It's very much psychological, very much emotional. And when we've strengthened that, and I teach a lot of that, because there was these were the things that I was really lacking in my previous relationships. When I started to learn this, I noticed how women are super responsive, and you don't have to be super mad at it. You don't have to go over the top of it. Here's something I want to leave you with as well. Women work in nuances. So small things, but consistent and more often, is far more valuable than one giant gesture. Us guys, we like great grandiose gestures. Women just need a bit more. And you'll see that. Like when the way they eat, you'll see that most women will their plate's full of like all different varieties of things, but smaller amounts of it. Guys, like burger, chips, done. Like simple for us in way. Not all. I'm just generalizing here, but these are important skills. I mean, again, I'm teaching so many things I've learned over the 10 years. I'm doing a lot of research in this, and this is what you can do. Is if you want to know more, you can check out my website. It's called masculine.co, and I run group coaching, and I also do one-to-one coaching. So group coaching is a great way to learn what I'm more about, what I teach. So I teach guys how to be more charismatic, to be confident, so they're admired, desired, and respected by women. You don't have to be a perfect man. There is no way am I near perfection. But what we have to do is just evolve a little bit more. And that's what Dr. Glover, he really put this really well, is that we have to be the integrated man, which means we have our flaws and we will have a goodness, and we'll bring them together. And, every man, every human being is the same. Every woman's the same. She'll have her flaws and she'll have a goodness. And it's about, accepting all of that and really functioning from that. And then just working on improving our things that we're good at, and then just working on the fractures, as I call them, the 5 fractures. Check that out video as well. All right. I hope this has been helpful, and I'm looking forward to bringing out some more masterclasses.